All right, thank you for joining the SiteSage presentation. Business location is probably the most important factor impacting revenue. However, site selection is hard. It requires large volume of data analysis and complex data, and often deep experience. As a result, it is slow, expensive, and often subjective. Our team can't help but to ask, can we engineer a solution to solve this? Can we engineer something that predicts the location with the most users, with the most visitors? Hence, we introduced SiteSage, a web app that predicts user traffic scores by analyzing business locations and description. When prompted to open a coffee shop on number 288 Wuling Road, it returns a score of 7.8. If another location returns 5.1, we know Wuling is better because the score is comparative. They say a demo is worth 1,000 slides, and I think that's a good deal. So let's dive in. To start, you enter the location and description, and you can wait. While you wait, you can interact with live math and read the per factor scores to verify progress. For example, look at the potential customer groups, traffic layout, and competitor analysis. After a minute, the final report is composed, containing numerical scores and per factor justification. All right, let's skip the backup slide for the dead video. So SiteSage is well equipped with different data sources. It uses AMAPs for street and geospatial data, WorldPop for demographics, and Web Search API for generic internet queries. For evaluation, we collect data from Chinese review platform Dianping. And we constrain ourselves to Shanghai, China, because the API is open and free, as well as focusing on coffee stores because it is easy to understand. We chose to use a comparative method for our evaluation. I think the best way is to walk through some examples. For example, in this case, we chose 2 coffee stores of the same brand and similar size. It is clear store A has more reviews and hence likely more traffic. We also run both locations through SiteSage and we obtain 2 scores. It is clear SiteSage prefers location A as well. If the prediction agrees with the ground truth, it is labeled correct, such as in this case. The ratio of success pairs of our evaluation is 78%. A rather decent number. All right, let's walk through another example. In this case, location A has more reviews. However, SiteSage decided to score location B with a higher score. This means SiteSage failed this prediction. But why did it fail? Let's look at more closely. It appears the AI successfully acknowledged it is a busy intersection and there's a lot of traffic. However, it did not acknowledge the location is actually underground. To be fair, the address never appeared in any maps or geospatial data as underground. Therefore, it is impossible for the AI to know. The only solution is to have the AI interact with the user for clarification, which is beyond this project scope.
So here we will go through the system workflow. First, user will input the description of the store and location, which is then pre-processed into structured inputs, such as longitude and latitude, for 3 consecutive analysis modules: customer, traffic, and competition analysis. Each module takes in the structured inputs and also the reports from the previous modules to keep the context clean and efficient. And then they generate a report covering different dimensions, such as demographics for customer and public transit for traffic analysis. Finally, the LLM will score each component with rubric and justify, and generates qualitative reports and quantitative scores. And also, weights for each component is decided by store information to cater to different users' needs. So in our training, we used 5 stores from Starbucks and for manual and automatic prompt tuning. And for testing, we used 8 stores from Meta Coffee and 5 stores from Arabica. So here is our quantitative results. We can see that our system achieves 80% accuracy on Arabica and 78% accuracy on Meta Coffee. The figures further illustrate the comparison between the actual review counts and the predicted scores. So we can see from the figure that more reviews are usually related with higher scores, and vice versa. So in conclusion, 79% of accuracy is achieved by the system. And the result makes sense because customer traffic and competitor Factors are the key factors usually used in the site selection real applications. And also our system shows generalizability and provides user with a good UX experience. However, it also has some weaknesses. For example, the rubrics are already absolute and only suitable for the coffee shops. And the review counts we collected, some of them are low, so it's hard to compare some locations. And also, date drift in search result is happening in this research. So for future projects, we might think about setting the experiment domain in Canada because it is more relevant, and we'll consider date drifting problem, and we will try to design a prompt and rubric that is more generalizable and learnable. Thank you.